Finally, let's look at the compositor and the rendering. For the compositor, we can click Add Lucero Compositor. And in here, we have a live compositor preview. We have different presets and we can see how we can create this later. To start with, we have different controls for things like exposure, brightness, contrast, hue, boost, saturation, and as well as the different controls for lift, gamma, and gain. We also have a curve here that we can use to add some contrast to your scene. Going into lens, we have a pre-soften, which is going to barely soften a little bit the edges, and then we have a sharpen control. We have some lens distortion, and also some chromatic aberration. Going into effects, we have a control for a vignette, which maybe if I go here, you will notice it more clearly. We also have a control for the color of the vignette. We have some control for bloom, and you have different types of bloom. We have also a setting for glare, and also for halation. In here you can control the threshold for the halation. For color, we have a setting to turn our image into black and white, and we can also use a gradient map. In here we can basically choose any color, and our image is going to use those colors. And finally, we have some control for some film grain. So we can turn it up, and in here we have a control for the size. And also if you want either a black and white or a color grain. This grain is mostly going to be applied on the dark parts of your image. For that, you have this control in here if you want to apply it to more parts or less parts of your image. And that basically covers the compositor. If you want to save a preset, you can come here and say whatever name you want, for example Lucero 1, save, and you will have it in here. If you want to open the folder of the preset, just click in here, and in here you will have all of your presets. Going into rendering, this is pretty simple. You also have some presets for the different rendering settings. You have a switch between cycles and Eevee. You have here all your settings for the export, including FMPEG settings if you need to. You have settings for the size of your render, a start and end frame, a step, transparent background or not. You have your different settings for the sampling of your render, either for the viewport or the render, if you want to use the noise or not. And in here you have the settings for the different bounces of the light. This will depend if you are on Eevee or cycles, you will get different settings. And finally, you have a button to either render an image or an animation. When you are loading a preset, you will get two settings. If you only want to load the settings for stuff like the samples and so on, you will only choose engine data. If you also want to load the data from the rendering, such as the file format, you also click Load Output Data. And that basically covers all the tools in Lucero so far. In the future, more tools will be updated or added and improved, so I will make sure to make those tutorials when that happens. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.